Hello everybody, it's me Nate aka Devil Dog, and I just went out since it's 2020 and got my prepaid order for Dying Light 2. Finally, they are coming out with this game, and I doubt there'll be any sort of delay or anything, so I'm gonna sit right here and not move a muscle and wait until the release date, which should only be a couple days away, alright? 2 years later. Hello everybody, it's me Nate aka Devil Dog, and I'm back with another game review, my first game review of 2022 I believe, and this is Dying Light 2. This game was published and developed by Techland and just released on February 4th of 2022 for just about every gaming system except for Nintendo Switch. I'm sure they'll figure out how to get this on the Switch. Now, if you noticed immediately, I am only using screenshots because for some odd reason, since I had an advanced early copy of this game, I was not able to capture actual gameplay footage, so I had to go back and take screenshots. Oddly enough, the screenshots worked. Now, this is based off a pre-patch version of the game. Once you receive the game as of today, the official launch of the title, there will be a day one patch that will fix a lot of the bugs. So I'm not really going to include any of the sort of bugs I have, considering the overall size of this game is almost like a first-person parkour version of Grand Theft Auto 5. So I'm not going to nitpick on that part. Now, as for overall plot of this game, you play as a character named Aiden Caldwell that is on a big trip to find a girl named Mia. I don't want to spoil it for you, but that's really the bare bones plot of this entire game. Now, honestly, while I will say it has drastic improvements over the original game, but for how long we had to wait for this, I'm not seeing that much of a drastic improvement. Yes, it's the game world is drastically larger. The verticality, hands down, is phenomenal. That's one of the best parts of this game. In fact, that's my favorite part of this game, is I don't really care about none of the characters or the plot or anything, but the game world itself is actually the best part of this game, especially as you go through and you become a superhuman Spider-Man. Because when you first start out, you got some decent moves, you got some game, you can jump and dive and do all kinds of neat stuff, but it's not until you upgrade your character, then you start getting neat things like everything from grapple hooks to paragliders and everything that'll help you get through and traverse this giant open world in a much faster passion. I mean, honestly, Aiden isn't a bad character. He just comes off as a generic, bare bones, almost like a Odd Lots version of Troy Baker. And when you hear his voice, you'll know what I mean, honestly. Now, the thing that they were pushing about this title was the overall game size, and I'm going to break it to you. I'm going to burst your bubble. It's not that big of a game. Techland was touting that it would take 500 hours to beat. No, there's some miscommunication with this fact. If you go through and just do the main story missions, which I think there are 22 main story missions in this game, it will take you anywhere from 20 to 30 hours to get from start to finish through this game. So it's not until you start diving deep into the side quests and all the other hidden stuff, then you can get up to 80 plus hours, and they claim you can get up to the 500 hours if you do everything. Now, that includes replaying the game so you get all side quests and see all the different story endings and different choices you can make. Because this does have a branching story system that once you make a decision, you move on to the next area. And while some of the decisions you make a difference, none of them are like totally drastic. Honestly, I was kind of really disappointed with the story in this. for how long they took in development for this title, I'm not seeing where the time went. I think that they had gotten carried away with the overall world size. And when it came down to actual gameplay, don't get me wrong, it plays great, it plays fun, even though the mechanics, especially the fighting against zombies and other characters, can be a little bit nitpicky. I mean, once you get your character beefed up enough where you can do some neat moves, like go up, beat the crap out of one guy, vault over top of them, do a drop kick into another enemy, pull out a weapon and club them to death. I mean, it is pretty good, but it seems a little too fast-paced and a little too finicky. And once again, for how long it took in development, I'm not really sure where all the time was spent with this title. I really ain't. I mean, like I said, it does have enhanced visuals. It does look more appealing than the first game. And the game world itself, like I said, structures mainly on way more verticality, with a lot of these places building their hideouts on the tops of buildings and stuff. And as you parkour around, using your different abilities, the fight and everything, it is a really good game. And since it does come with the natural day and night cycle like the first one does, and this one actually leads to looking a lot better at night. Now, what I mean by that is the first game, if you played it, it was really hard to see at night. Now, this one, it makes it a little bit easier to see at night, and it actually makes it to where it's worthwhile to go out and investigate more when it's dark out, in order to get certain items in certain locations and to solve certain missions. It serves a point when you're fighting all these really messed up enemies, zombies, and other characters. But that brings one thing to mind that I have to mention. Really, none of these characters I give a crap about. Even the main character, Aiden, I don't care about them. They don't have enough character development to where I really give a crap about them. And as soon as you get in touch with a certain character and you're doing missions for them, about the time you think that they're going to evolve and have something new, they move on to a different character. And even though it is a fun game, I found myself getting bored with it quite quickly. It suffers from what I call open world madness, which means you have a giant, epic, neat open world where you go around, but you're basically doing things that you've done in every other game. You have these areas that you go that take out the enemies to take over, and once you do, you can give them to whatever faction that you're affiliated with. Well, that's great, And then they have these areas that you climb towers that are almost like Far Cry, and to me, it just doesn't really seem to have its own personality. It just seems to take hodgepodge pieces of other games of open world environments and shove them all together in this big mishmash of a game. Fortunately, it does work, and it does play very, very well. Keep in mind, I'm playing on a PlayStation 4 Pro. I'm not playing on a PS5, so I don't know how the visuals will be higher. Either way, I've been told that much like every PS5 game, they give you an option of either a performance mode or a fidelity mode. So you can either have it running in higher frames or in a higher resolution. And I've been told if you run it in a higher resolution, it really bogs down less than 30 frames a second on this. Now, as for the PS4 version, honestly, I haven't really had too many issues that I'm going to complain about. I mean, there are your standard open world glitches, but nothing that was like game breaking. And it played great once you were able to upgrade your character enough to get the different abilities to where you could actually do combos on characters and enemies. It played fun. It was great. But honestly, for how long we waited for this title, it is such a small marginal improvement over the first game. I would have to say, for the price, I would recommend playing the first game again. This, I don't like none of the characters. And the only thing I can say I enjoyed was the way you traverse this game world, and the game world and all the collectibles and hidden items and bosses that you can fight and enemies. But as for the actual plot, the plot is total garbage. It's boring. I don't care about these characters. And as you go through and level your character up and get all these neat new abilities, that's fine. But it didn't really motivate me like some games do to keep playing through. I just didn't care for the outcome. And the fact that the different decisions you make really don't make much of a big difference overall, to me, it just comes off as I don't know what they did with the development time with this. I really don't. And it's quite a shame because overall, do I think this is better than the first Dying Light? Yes, I do in just about every way. Character development is better. Control is a lot better. You get way more options. You get way more abilities to level up your character. The game world, hands down, is the best part of this title. The different weapons handle differently as you go through. But in the end, it's not really that much more of an improvement over the first game. And it saddens me to say, for how much dev time this game took and how many delays it had, I'm not seeing really where all that time went, other than slight, gameplay elements and slight visual details. To me, it just plays like more of an enhanced version of the first Dying Light, almost like a reskin with a new character. And in the end, it's still a good game. It's still fun to play. And certain parts when you're being chased by enemies, especially at night, and you're running from them, it can actually be quite hectic and really give a good feeling of stress to you. But honestly, if you're expecting something drastically different from the first game, you will be highly disappointed in this title. I wasn't disappointed, but like I said, I just got bored with it really, really fast. And the only saving highlight, the saving grace to me, was the design of the open world and all the stuff you could explore and go and parkour off of and run and beat down zombies and do all kinds of collector. It is a massive collector fest. It really is. And honestly, there's really nothing I can sit here and say that was really shockingly memorable in terms of missions. It really wasn't. To me, it just seems by the numbers sequel to a last game. And while it's not garbage in any way, like I said, to me, I just don't see where the dev time went. And I can't really say that it is a much better game than the first game, other than open size of the game world and some new additions to the new character you play as. But in the end, that's only my personal opinions, and I'm sure you will have your own. Please leave them in the comments below. This was Nate, aka Devil Dog. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this video. Please leave in the comments below if you felt I've left out anything about this title or what your personal feelings are on this game. And remember to give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Please subscribe to my channel. And remember, I always end my videos by saying, have fun, play hard, and remember, people, the devil is in the details. Peace out until next time.